Welcome to Education 596 Graduate Seminar, your culminating class for the Masters of Education Special Emphasis or Masters of Arts in Teaching degrees. My name is Valerie Beltran and I will be your professor this term. And in case I haven't had you before, I just put some pictures. Since in an online class, it's nice to be able to see with whom you're working. So really quickly, I am the mother of three. This is my oldest, Irene, my son, Jaime Jr. I should have said this is my husband, Jaime. This is my youngest, Katrina, who just graduated in May with her master's in public administration. This is her fiance, Matt. They're getting married this fall. And this is her best friend, Isabel. And she graduated from University of Laverne. She did her undergrad in Maryland, but came back to do her master's degree here. And I love to do a lot of things, but one of them has to be travel. So here I am in Boston this July, and we got to participate in a recreation of the Boston Tea Party. So that's my angry face. I don't think I do angry very well. But getting to throw the boxes of tea over the side, my husband thought was crazy, and I was so excited. We also went on a cruise in which we stopped for 2 days in Havana, Cuba. So this is out in front of a government building there in Havana. I also love sports. I'm a diehard Cubs and Chicago Bears fan. But here we are in July with my two oldest and my 80-year-old mother. She does not look 80, does she? At a Dodger game. And I also, for a week in July, took a group of 3 of our math and science credential candidates to JPL, and we participated in a week-long training about how to incorporate more STEM activities into our programs. So I don't know if that made my brain larger or smaller because it was overwhelming, all of the content. But they're standing actually in front of the mission control area that we got to go down right there on the floor. So when they do missions and launches and stuff, they're monitoring them from right there. So that was really cool. So that's just a little bit about me. Let's go ahead and look at our Blackboard site. So here we are on our course Blackboard site, and you will notice that you're not going to see as many things over here because the class is set up so differently than most of the other classes that you've taken. Really, Grad Seminar is set up in an independent study approach because each one of you will be working on your own project. So it doesn't make sense to have a whole bunch of group meetings because you're all going to have very specific questions for your own individual projects. Therefore, we'll be doing one-on-one appointments between you and me, and then we will all come together at the end of this semester for you to do a short presentation on what you've done. So the first thing is I want you to go to the Syllabus tab and open that up, save it onto your desktop because that's what we'll be using to continue on. And you can put this on pause and then open that up and then go ahead and click to continue on our presentation. All right, so looking at the syllabus, you have how to contact me. My email is the best way, or a text message. Either one of those is fine. Office number, I'm often not in my office. I'm out at school, so that might take a little longer response time. If you text me, email me, I really try to get back within 24 hours. Might be a little bit longer on the weekend, and usually faster than that. So here, if we look at the course description, you can see that this is your culminating activity. Wow, that really jumped. Where you're going to do a project that shows what you've learned. It shows your ability to write, to do research, to analyze research, to look at an area where something needs to be done about it, and to go through and do that. Here's the best news. There's only one required text that you should already have, and that is the 6th edition of the APA manual. If for any reason you don't have it, please, 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 it's like 28 bucks. Please get it. Don't try to figure out APA online. It never works out well for people, trust me. All right, so here's how our course is set up. As I already mentioned, independent study approach. You first need to figure out which kind of project you want to do, and I'll be explaining all of those in a little bit. You will send me a written proposal of what you want to do and why. I will send back, give you the green light, or have you tweak it a little bit. As soon as you get that, you're going to start working independently on your project. We will use WebEx throughout the term on 3 different evenings to do our one-on-one check-ins. So only 20 minutes, which is plenty of time. You can see the dates right there. They're all on Wednesdays, so I ask that by the Sunday night prior to our meetings, so that would be September 23rd, October 21st, etc. You email me your work up to that point. That gives me time to print it out, to review it, to write comments, and then scan it back to you prior to our meeting. I usually only get it to you the day before the day of our meeting. And then we can use that as a base for you to ask questions, or I can do some more guiding. Please, please, please submit your work to me as a Word document. I know some people like to do it on Google Doc. That's fine. Just transfer it over into a Word doc and make sure that the spacing and stuff lines up. Sometimes when you do that switch over, it doesn't line up too well. So we'll be meeting one-on-one throughout the term. In between, you'll be doing your work. And then at the end of the term, on December 5th, we will have a presentation night via WebEx. And I'll be sending you the link that we'll use for all of these things. And the purpose of that presentation is really to give you an opportunity to share, because you guys will create amazing things. And I want you to have that opportunity to show off a little bit. And it's also an opportunity for us to learn from each other and just expand our own knowledge base. So it's short, max of 5 minutes. Do a visual, or if you've done a creative project with a website, you can show that as well. But we want more than just a talking head. And we'll talk more about that as we go through the course. Another thing about this course, since it's a project-based course, is that it is a credit or no credit course, which means you don't get a letter grade. You just get a CR or an NCR. To get a credit grade, you have to attend all of your one-on-one meetings. You can't blow me off. You need to have your project submitted to me, and I always say midnight on presentation night, because after the presentations, often people like to go back and just review it one more time. If by Wednesday, December 5th, you do not have your project done, you might be eligible for an in-progress grade. An in-progress grade gives you a full year, which means you'd have until December of 2019 to finish it without having to pay any additional fees. However, to qualify for that in-progress grade, you still have to have at least 60% of your project done. The reason that's in there is we didn't used to do that, and we'd find people wouldn't do anything. They wouldn't have anything done, and then the year would go by and they didn't even have a starting point. And then they end up getting a no credit grade. So we don't want that to happen. You also have to attend all your one-on-one meetings, participate in the APA presentation I'll show you in a minute, and still present on the night of class presentations. One thing I want to point out, if you take in progress, do not wait until the very last day, the year goes by, to submit it, because you have to allow time if if you need corrections, if you have to do some editing, if you've submitted to me at the very last date, then you don't have time for that. And you're not giving me any time to go back and review it and give it back to you. Also, and so if you go past that year, then you have to start paying continuous enrollment, which basically you pay a unit at whatever the current tuition rate is at that time to grant yourself a 6-month extension. Don't do that. That's like throwing money out the window, right? Also, if you're close to the 5-year timeline to finish your degree, you might not be eligible for that additional time. So you want to double check and make sure that you're not in that boat. But really, in a full semester, there is no reason you should not be able to complete this project. But you're going to have to be self-motivated. You're going to have to get yourself on a schedule, which we'll talk about. All right, one last thing. I will send out emails via Blackboard, which goes to your ULV email address. If you're not checking that on a regular basis, make sure to link it up to your personal email. All right, we'll continue on in the second video.